This is Ryan Burge, who is in a Washington court for murder. On November 2nd, 2018, Burge physically assaulted 5-year-old Hartley Anderson, the daughter of his ex-girlfriend Natasha Tafoya. The young girl who was left in his care died from injuries she sustained from the attack. The 37-year-old man is charged with first-degree manslaughter and second-degree murder. During court proceedings, the child abuser walked into the courtroom, which was heavy with emotion, unaware of the storm about to break.
Burge sang little as his former girlfriend Hartley's mother, Natasha, was sobbing from the seats. The proceedings suddenly interrupted, with Hartley's father, Peter Anderson, lunging toward the bench. He was quickly taken out by deputies, leading him away in handcuffs outside the courtroom.
Tensions in court reached breaking point when Anderson's father launched an attack on his child's killer. Order was restored to the courtroom after court bailiffs marched him out. Burge was sentenced to a 40-year prison sentence in addition to 36 months of anger management and substance abuse treatment. After court proceedings, Anderson's family had some words for the press.
That was really hard. Because she's just so little, and I just don't know how you could put your hands on a little girl like that.
At our Halloween party at work on Wednesday, and I got my last hug from her. It's heartbreaking to see someone go through all this.
In this next case, a grieving family wants their pound of flesh from the suspect in court. This is Paul Wade, who is in Jefferson County Justice Center, Louisville, for murder. On September 10th, 2022, the 31-year-old man killed 26-year-old Edward Lamont Smith and 25-year-old Alexis McCrary in Louisville's Russell neighborhood. Police discovered the bodies a few blocks apart and believe the murders were connected. He is charged with first-degree manslaughter and second-degree murder. During court proceedings, the unrest from families of the deceased threatened to derail the trial.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Paul Wade.
Paul Wade.
Now I will say good afternoon. It just turned noon, so good afternoon. Erin Kennedy Streitzman. I'm standing in for Rob Eggert on behalf of Paul Wade. This is a little bit different. Mr. Eggert is retained on...
Quiet in courtroom.
Mr. Eggert is retained on the 2 revocation.
Okay, hold on.
One more outburst.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to leave the courtroom. You have to. I believe you.
We all family.
Okay, y'all got to not
Because I had
talk.
my mask on, they didn't know
Okay.
I was.
No talking in the courtroom.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. He does have a new charge. Mr. Eggert has not been retained yet. I'm standing in for the limited purpose to ask on his behalf for this to go to November 1st for Mr. Eggert to possibly be retained.
So hold on, I've got someone who doesn't have a lawyer.
Yes.
Are you going to hire a lawyer?
I don't know. I gotta see my financial situation, but I'm trying to
I just
hire.
don't want to just keep you hanging out in jail without a lawyer.
You can give me a PD, a man in me.
What?
I say you can give me a PD.
Well, do you qualify?
Yes, ma'am.
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
got a job. I ain't
Well,
got no
then how are you
income.
going to hire a lawyer?
That's why I said I don't know right now. I gotta see how my financial situation work out.
With the room already on ice, the judge rescheduled the hearing, but Wade's decision to spite the families proved nearly fatal.
The seriousness of the crime, I don't know if I got enough money for it.
And the 2 revocation cases, Mr. Eggert had those previously.
You did have Mr. Eggert previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want an opportunity to hire Mr. Eggert?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
You think it's realistic that will happen?
Yes, ma'am.
then I will give you to November 1st.
Okay.
And I will tell you, sir, I just can't just hold it. Okay, so if it's not here by November 1st, we're gonna talk again about the public defender.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and the day before you're in surrogate, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I have nothing.
He's wrong. He's wrong, sir. He's wrong.
You stay back.
He's wrong.
I know.
4 family members of the deceased persons were arrested for disorderly conduct in obstructing governmental operation. The alleged murderer was returned to his cell and had his bond set to $1 million cash. In this next case, a sex offender is trying to make lemonades from life's lemons. He doesn't know he's in a surprise. This is Christopher Elwell, who is in a New Hampshire court for sexually assaulting a minor. On June 25th, 2017, the 27-year-old man visited a house in Dover for a sleepover. In the night, after watching illicit videos on his private phone, Elwell abused a 4-year-old girl present in the room. The offender is charged with sexually assaulting a minor.
They described him showing them videos of sexual acts similar to the ones that she had done. The defendant was required to register as a sex offender and had been living at 12 Mineral Park Drive off and on, but more than 5 times a month, and had not changed his registration with the Somersworth Police Department.
During court proceedings, the 27-year-old was already having a bad day after hearing the judge's sentence. He needed to prepare for what life threw next at him.
The attack happening just moments after Christopher Elwell was sentenced to 7.5 to 15 years for sexually assaulting a 4-year-old girl. Josiah Davies, who was awaiting arraignment and a hearing on a probation violation, headbutted Elwell. The sexual assault happened in Dover back on June 24th into the 25th. The victim came over to a home where Elwell was staying. A 9-year-old and another 4-year-old girl were also there.
Josiah Davies, a prisoner awaiting a hearing on a probation violation in the same room, suddenly attacked the sex offender when he sat next to him. Elwell was sentenced to 7.5 to 15 years in prison. In this next case, 2 brothers deliver a serious beatdown on their mother's killer. This is Dale Williams, who was in a Mahoning County courtroom for murder. On June 15, 2017, the 62-year-old man crashed his car into his ex-girlfriend, Pledger Stewart's car. In a cold, calculated move, he murdered her as she stepped out of her car. Williams was charged with aggravated murder. During court proceedings, tension filled the courtroom as Anthony and Jerome, the sons of Stewart, decided to take matters into their own hands. The courtroom descended into pandemonium, marshals scrambling to restore order.
Let's go, move. Let's go, now. Yes.
The two brothers were arrested and charged with assault, obstructing official business, and contempt of court. Following the legal proceedings, Williams was sentenced to 23 years to life behind bars. In this next case, a grieving father decides to make a solid statement in court. This is Jasmine Gordon and her boyfriend Clifford Thomas, who was in a Detroit court for murder. On September 18, 2014, 34-year-old Thomas brutally assaulted 3-year-old Jamila, whom he was babysitting. 24-year-old Gordon, who was aware of her partner's crime, refused to cooperate with the emergency medical technician. The little girl later died from injuries she sustained from the assault. During court proceedings in a tense courtroom, Dwayne Smith, the child's father, plotted his revenge. Gordon got 7, 15 years for involuntary manslaughter, and 25 years for child abuse. Thomas, on the other hand, got 4, 15 years for manslaughter, and 2 years for resisting arrest. Smith was removed from court and not charged. In this case, an aggrieved son has a different type of justice planned for his mom's killer. This is Vashon Flowers, who is in a Muskegon County District Court for murder. On May 19, 2019, Flowers got into an argument with his wife, Jamie Thomas Flower, over his smoking habits. He had promised to change, but he broke his promise. They had been arguing for hours until, without any shred of emotion, the 46-year-old shot and killed his wife. Paris Jones, the daughter of the couple and a witness to the crime, had a chilling testimony to give.
That he was a grown man. If he wanted to buy cigarettes, he would buy cigarettes. He got down on the ground and started choking my mother. Actually, I heard, "You don't have to do this, Vashon. Please don't do this. You don't have to do this." And then I heard gunshots.
The murderer was charged with first-degree premeditated murder. During court proceedings, London Thomas, the slain woman's son, decided to take a little too far. court bailiffs had a tough time separating the aggravated son from his mom's killer. The 46-year-old was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his wife. In this next case, a grieving uncle erupts in court. This is Quinn Bowes, who is in an Indiana courtroom court for the murder of his son. In 2018, Bowes arrived at a hospital with his unresponsive 11-week-old son in Parker. The 24-year-old man had physically assaulted his child, which resulted in Parker being placed in the emergency unit. He is charged with manslaughter. During court proceedings, the uncle of 11-week-old Parker made his disgust for Bowes known. Court bailiffs were able to restrain the angry man from inflicting any serious damage to Bowes. Patrick's killer was sentenced to 25 years in jail, while his uncle was given 179 days in jail for contempt, with misdemeanor battery charges from the state. In this next case, a family does not approve of their child's killer's apologies. This is Wendell McNeil, who was in a Syracuse courtroom for murder. On February 6, 2022, the 28-year-old stabbed and killed Alan McCall Walker while on work release from state prison. McNeil is charged with second-degree manslaughter. During court proceedings, chaos ensued in court when the killer tried to apologize to the grieving family. The 28-year-old pleaded guilty to murder in exchange for 7